Matome sites, thinking what the fuck is this trash thread, while throwing my time. Normies who don't know this are just gonna get exploited for cheap their whole lives. The correlation, dead fish eyes, frantically smashing your keyboard. Deep down, both of us are thinking, good work today, you degenerates. Look, I know you're listening to this scrolling on your phone in bed, or hiding in a bathroom stall slacking off. Ever wonder why we bust our asses working or studying, but life ain't getting any easier? Well, turns out it's a mathematically rigged game where we're guaranteed to lose. Today, I'm going to talk about why we're terrified of betrayal and end up burning ourselves out for peanuts, using this thing called the Nash Equilibrium by some genius named John Nash. Before we get into it, I'm going to break this down into 4 chapters, nice and simple. I know some of you brain-dead goobers are going to say, too long, didn't read, but today it's 4 chapters. Deal with it. Chapter 1, the real reason your daily grind is pointless. 2, the prisoner's dilemma in the trash game called Equilibrium. 3, Pareto optimality is a pipe dream killed by the incentive to backstab. And 4, surviving a game where you're guaranteed to lose again tomorrow. Alright, let's go. Alright, Chapter 1. The real reason your daily grind is pointless. You lads get on those packed commuter trains every single morning, swaying back and forth completely brain dead, right? Same here. Those packed trains in the summer are pure hell. Thinking of sweat and half-dried laundry, while the old guy next to you is doing gacha, pulls on some random mobile game, stepping on your foot while getting absolutely wrecked by terrible drop. And I'm sitting there with one earbud in, scrolling through Matome's sites, thinking what the fuck is this trash thread, while throwing my time into the gutter. Then you get to work or school with dead fish eyes, frantically smashing your keyboard. Deep down, both of us are thinking, man, I wish my salary would go up. I wish I had more days off. But the reality is you can't even leave on time, and doing unpaid service overtime is the sick norm. What the fuck? Right. Here's the thing. It ain't that my skills are trash. The game was rigged from the start. No matter how hard we try, the higher-ups are just gonna exploit us anyway. Keep your feelings out of this and listen. The whole system is built so nobody can make a move. Think of it like this. It's like the massive traffic jams on the highway during the New Year's rush. Every lane is packed, and you think, oh, that lane looks emptier, so you switch over, only to find it's just as jammed, and the lane you were just in is actually moving faster. The reason nobody takes a different route is because it's obvious that if you're the only one who does, it's going to take even longer. This suffocating feeling might go against your intuition, but this is reality. Now on to Chapter 2, the prisoner's dilemma and the trash game called Equilibrium. That packed train and traffic jam stuff I just talked about. Here's the bottom line. To put it at a level even middle schoolers or you goobers can understand, in the world of game theory and behavioral economics, there's this concept called the Nash Equilibrium. So there was this absolute unit of a math genius named John Nash, won a Nobel Prize and everything. He proved this, and it's a depressing as hell theory. A genius thought about it really hard, and his conclusion was, humans are gonna backstab each other anyway, so things stabilize in this worst-case scenario. Yikes, that's rough. A stable point where nobody has an incentive to backstab. That's the Nash Equilibrium. You're probably like, what the fuck does that mean? So let me give you a specific example. Imagine a hellscape where rival companies, Company A and Company B, are bleeding each other dry in a price war over a new product. Old guys in suits sitting in a boardroom, desperately deciding, all right, let's price our product at 3,000 yen. In reality, if both companies just jacked up the price to 10,000 yen, they'd both make bank and have an easy life. But what happens if we keep our price high and the other guys backstab us and sell cheap? They steal all the customers, our sales ranking drops out of the charts, and we're totally dead. Plus, the shareholders will call us brain dead, and we'll get cut from the roster. Because they're terrified of the other guy backstabbing them, they both set the lowest price, and it turns into a total swamp. That's literally the Japanese work environment right now. You guys too, right? You're scared that if you're the only one who takes paid leave, everyone else will be like, I can't believe he took a day off, treat you like a traitor, and you'll be laid off. So everyone just does unpaid overtime and burns out. Everyone thinks it's better not to change how things are done, because changing it would make things worse, so you're stuck. That's the trash theory known as the Nash Equilibrium. Clueless normies who don't know this are just gonna get exploited for cheap their whole lives. The correlation is an absolute unit. Hold up, let's sort this out for a second. I know you lads are yelling at your phone screens right now. That's just a game of chicken. Yeah, I figured you'd say that. But it's actually a bit different from a game of chicken. There are two elements: predicting what the other guy is gonna do, and choosing the action where you lose the least based on that. Both sides wait to see what the other will do, and if you assume the other guy is gonna backstab, your only optimal move, your best response, is to backstab too. As a result of constantly making that choice, everyone ends up in a spot where they can't make another move. The trick here is simple. If you try to be the only one to cooperate, you take a massive L, so you backstab. Looking at the big picture, it's horribly inefficient and miserable, but on an individual level, it ends up being the most rational choice. Numbers don't lie, but humans are scared, so they pick the safe route and go down with the ship together. This is deep. If you dig into why it's like this, it comes down to human self-defense instincts and paranoia. Because you can't trust anyone, you end up voluntarily choosing the worst option just to avoid taking fatal damage. Truly, trash game. Next, Chapter 3. Pareto optimality is a pipe dream, killed by the incentive to backstab. You know those try-hard normies always spouting crap like, let's build a win-win relationship. Or if we all cooperate, we'll get the best results, right? That's absolute fantasy land. The state where the maximum profit is achieved for the whole group is called Pareto optimality. But a Pareto optimality where everyone cooperates and is happy is just a pipe dream. What's the reality? Thanks to the incentive to backstab, where everyone tries to get just a little bit more for themselves, the whole thing just keeps rolling towards a net loss. Here's the important part. The Nash Equilibrium only shows a stable state. It doesn't mean it's the best outcome, the Pareto optimality. In fact, the stable point where nobody wants to move and the point of maximum profit for the group usually don't match up. Little fun fact for you. Try picturing a 2x2 matrix colored in blue and red in your head. A grid with 4 squares, 2 players on the vertical and horizontal axis. The square labeled stable point where nobody wants to move, and the square labeled maximum profit for the group are in completely different spots. That visually shows the situation where the Nash Equilibrium and Pareto optimality don't match. Listen here, out of those 4 squares, the one we always end up in is the bottom tier square with the crappiest profit. Why? Because if you follow the other guy's optimal response path, the arrows showing the route where they'll pick what's best for them, it leads straight to the square where you both backstab each other. The prisoner's dilemma is exactly that. If both keep their mouths shut, they get released immediately. But they get terrified the other guy might confess, so they both confess and get the maximum prison sentence. You're thinking, what the hell, are they brain dead? But you degenerates are doing the exact same thing every day. It's a world where the guy who jumps the gun wins and only the ones who made the rules are laughing. This is educational as hell, ain't it? Sure, there are exceptions, but look at the big picture. I know you're gonna say, then what the fuck are we supposed to do? Laughing my ass off, you're seething. And with that, you've just confirmed your low IQ, brain-dead take. There is no solution. That's why I call it a trash game. To shift from an unstable equilibrium to a desirable cooperative one, you probably need communication with the other party and rule design. But there's no way us bottom feeders can pull that off. As if a bunch of socially awkward degenerates like us could just start communicating with people tomorrow and say, let's change the system. The moment you say that, you'll be treated like a normie and kicked out. In the end, it's like we're all holding hands on a sinking ship. Finally, Chapter 4. Surviving a game where you're guaranteed to lose again tomorrow. I'll cut to the chase. If the structure is trash, our only option is to not try too hard. As long as the world system runs on this crab bucket mentality called the Nash Equilibrium, struggling alone is pointless. Separate what you can change from what you can't. The reason we're rotting at the bottom ain't because we didn't try hard enough. It's because the rules of this world were designed to exploit us for cheap from the start. Think about it like that, and it takes a bit of the edge off, right? You guys did nothing wrong. The world is what's wrong. Man, this truth is so deep, I can't stop crying. Flip-flopping so hard my shoulder dislocated. So starting tomorrow, we just gotta throw away that pointless anxiety and just get through the day completely brain dead on that pack train. Nobody's gonna backstab if nobody tries, so we can just stay like this forever. Hey, I've got a point, right? Just laugh and say, look at these brain dead goobers. And as long as you can think, at least I'm not them. That's a win. Well, it's got nothing to do with me though. Anyway, if you want to enjoy more pointless discussions like this tomorrow, subscribe to the channel and kill some time. There's no high-class learning here, just licking each other's wound. Well, you degenerates who stick around for this trash thread are my biggest hope. Smash that button. I'd love to say, alright, dismissed, but I'll just give you a sneak peek for tomorrow. Next time, I'm gonna explain the business model canvas. Got an early start tomorrow. I'm going to sleep.